Welcome, welcome, welcome to Mahogany Under with Cece and Dr. Yancey. Today we have Divinity Goddess with us. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well, thank you for asking.
Divinity Goddess is going to be talking about healing in our community, along with Dr. Yancey, that's going to be talking about the mental health aspect of it. So before we start, I'm going to give you time to go and get something to write with and some paper. So go ahead. We'll be back.
Here.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, Divinity Goddess, please let our audience know a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So I currently reside in North Las Vegas, and I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I did 20 years in the Air Force, retired back in 2014. So I've been retired for a full 6 years now. And I started my spiritual journey probably about 2012 when I got divorced. And that kind of forced me to really start taking some accountability for my own dysfunctional behaviors and really start putting myself in check. And it really got kicked up a notch. My healing journey got kicked up a notch probably about last year. But doing spiritual work and healing services is just a small portion of what I do. I'm also a life insurance broker, and I'm licensed in about 15 states. I'm a mobile notary local to Clark County, Nevada. I also make skincare and jewelry products. And I think that about covers everything that I do.
And you're a published author.
Yes, yes, I am a published author.
Beautiful.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about Reiki.
So, Reiki is one of the oldest forms of energy healing that's been around. Like I said, we'll just say it started back when the world started. We'll just go from there. But it's a form of energy healing where it allows the energy within you to be unblocked by having a practitioner um, unblock your energy with the use of just moving our hands around you, moving away any stagnant energy that you may be holding on to from any recent traumas or any past traumas or interactions with overly negative people. Their energy definitely will get transferred to you if you're not knowing how to keep yourself protected from other people's energy.
And if someone was looking for like your guidance or your healing or your spiritual guidance, what would they type in Google to bring up?
They would just go and type in www.soulfulhealingservices.com and my website will come up.
Yes, we're going to put her website and all of her information on how to contact her for her services in the description on YouTube.
Would you say that Reiki falls somewhat similar to Buddha and mindfulness and yoga?
Absolutely. I do know quite a few yogis who also practice Reiki, and they're very familiar with all the chakras. They utilize that training when they teach yoga. They go over chakra points and they talk about how Reiki can also assist with moving that energy around. Buddha is more so just, I believe more Buddhist is more of a religion, but it is definitely one of those religions where they practice peace and mindfulness and namaste and, loving everything and everyone around them.
And explain to us what the different chakras are.
So there's 141 chakras in the body. Typically, we focus on, I guess, what you would consider the main seven, which is the root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, um, the heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, and your crown chakra. So those are typically the ones that when you go to see somebody for some chakra work or in Reiki, if you're trying to get your chakras balanced or unblocked, those are the ones that we will be working on.
Does Reiki require touching Because if you don't like to be touched, still get some form of energy healing.
You surely can. Like, we do not have to touch you at all. And typically we will ask people, do they mind if we do light touches? But for me, I do a lot of crystal Reiki. So I place crystals along your body, and sometimes depending on what we're working on, you may be holding crystals. So if that's the case, then I will generally touch your hand and your shoulder so that energy is moving through you, but it still can be accomplished without being touched at all.
Okay.
And Divinity Goddess, you do a spiritual counseling also
Yes, ma'am, I sure do.
with couples?
I listen, couples, groups, it doesn't matter. So even like, what is that? Next Thursday, we're having a sister circle out here where I do Reiki, and that is a form of spiritual counseling as well. That bonding and sisterhood and people being able to open up and talk about whatever issues they're having. And then a couple of days later, we're having the unwind and wellness, which is another form of spiritual counseling in a group setting. But it's also done, one-on-one, so people can really dive into their personal lives and specific issues that they're dealing with.
Hmm. And you also do a oracle reading?
Yes, ma'am, I do oracle cards as
Explain
well.
that.
So oracle cards, you don't have to use as many as you do in tarot. And even with tarot, like, you can do a one card reading, but typically with tarot, people go very in depth. So they'll use the full layout. That is about, I think it's about 8 to 9 cards that they typically use in tarot. Whereas oracle cards, about the max I've seen used is going to be like a 7 card reading. But you can do a 1 card, or you can do past, present, future, and an overall summary. So 4 cards, just depending. But they're not as tarot is a little bit more harsh. I've seen the tarot readings, and like, them things be going in, like, they really gonna get you. And but again, some of the oracle decks that I have seen, like, some of them, like, they gonna read you your life, and it ain't gonna be comfortable, especially if your life is not in a good place.
I know that's right.
Yeah, the oracle cards, because I don't have to focus on so many. Again, for me, with running multiple businesses, like, I need to keep some of my stuff that I do, as time managed as possible.
Now, I know Reiki is more or less a form of healing.
Mhm.
Where does the tarot card reading fall? Is it just wanting to know what life has in store for you, or is it a form of healing?
Form of healing too, because it's gonna read both of the tarot cards and oracle cards. They're gonna read you your life. So if stuff is out of whack that you're trying to avoid, that you're running from, you're gonna get that in those readings. They're gonna tell you what you need to be working on. Now,
Mm.
for example, like, I for the most part throughout the week, every morning, well, not every morning, but uh, quite a few mornings out of the week, I do readings for myself to start my day. And so I've had a couple of cards show back up, like, nope, let's focus on this message right now. And I'm like, okay. Like, they're gonna keep popping up. So, you get those readings, and they're gonna read you your life.
Mm.
I know, although Reiki is not a form of religion, nor does it require any set of beliefs. Do people have to somewhat believe that it's going to work for them, or will it just work by essence of what it is, just energy?
Yep, Reiki is pure energy. So whether you believe in it or not, it will still work for you. And I'll give you an example. I met up with a friend of mine the other night. He just came back from Arkansas, and he brought me some stones. He brought me some crystals back from Arkansas, and he was like, I've been seeing you posting a lot about Reiki. He was like, what is it? And I was explaining to him that it's energy healing. And you can tell when somebody's not really, like, believing what you're saying. And he was like, so you can manipulate my energy with your hands. And I was like, you don't believe me? Hold on, watch this. And I said, just stand still. So I started rubbing my hands together to heighten my energy. And all I did was move my hands around his head. And he was like, oh my gosh. I don't know what you just did, but I felt that. And I was like,
He felt it.
he felt it.
Oh,
And it was like a just brief 3 seconds, me moving my hands just around his head. That's all I did.
wow.
He was like, I'm gonna have to book an appointment with you. And I was like, well, you got my info. Come on.
Because you can do it. They don't have to be directly in
Mm-mm.
front of you.
Nope. I do Reiki sessions over the phone all the time.
Hey, that's a new way now. So I have questions for both of you, and both of you can answer. You first, Miss Divinity Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
What does healing in our community look like for you?
Looks like something we need to get to work on. That's first and foremost. Like there's a lot of healing that needs to take place in the Black community. But it also has to be an awakening. People have to be open and receptive to healing. And a lot of people are not. A lot of people are very comfortable in their misery because they don't know who they are unless they're playing the victim, because it gives them sympathy, it gives them attention. It means that they don't have to hold themselves accountable for their very own actions. But
Wow.
healing is definitely something that needs to take place, whether that is through Reiki, spiritual counseling, whether that's going to see mental health providers, whether that's sister circles, brother circles, whatever the case may be, there's a lot of it that needs to be done in our communities ASAP.
And simultaneously, I think it all needs to happen all at once.
Absolutely. But again, people have to know that they need to be working on their healing. They have to want to be working on the healing. And unfortunately, just like I said, some people don't want to because they're comfortable where they are.
Healing is an ugly business.
Oh, it is. But
You have to look within, and sometimes you don't want to see what's there.
I would have to agree. And healing is just not within, because there's another force, there's external healing. So I would say just equal justice brings about healing. Solutions to problems being attainable brings about healing. And also no longer feeling like our community has to wait for systems to function for us also brings about healing.
I like how you explained it, Dr. Yancey, how we have to heal on levels. We have to heal on like our family and our finances, and I never looked at it like that. Like, wow, like we got a whole lot of healing to do. And if somebody wants to start their healing journey, I think everybody is different, but how do they know that they're ready to start it?
They're going to be tired of being sick and tired.
They're going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
That's when you know you are ready to start healing. And then for a lot of people too, when they finally get to the point to where they're having those constant breakdowns and they don't know why, that's your body and spirit's way of telling you it's time to start healing. Like we got to do some work. Let's go. Let's lace up these boots and let's get this healing going.
Yeah.
I agree. It's when people realize that external help is needed. Like, I cannot do this on my own. It's a mindset. So when their mind tells them that a different path may be a better path, that's when they identify that the healing is not in front of me. I got to reach out for it.
And what if somebody want to heal, but they do not have the resources to get professional help? How can they heal or work and heal on themselves without any external?
First and foremost, I know a lot like mental health. If they don't have like health coverage at work, that may be a little bit harder to attain cost-wise. Spiritual healing is not expensive. So, Reiki is not expensive. Spiritual counseling is not expensive. But the key thing is to not punk out and get yourself out there to start that healing. Like there are resources that are affordable. You know what I mean? Like we find money to pay for what we want to pay for. And like I said, mental health sometimes with the cost or whatever, that may be a little bit harder to attain without having that HMO, but there are still other resources available. So again, it comes back to asking questions, like looking for different ways and avenues of resources. Like maybe you can get some outside funding to help with mental health, or maybe you start at the spiritual level first, and then while you're working to save up for mental health services, whatever the case may be, but you just got to start.
I agree. It's not always in therapy. Every problem is not in need of a therapist. So there are books. You can go to the library, that's free. If you have internet services, looking up anxiety, looking up depression. You can define if you have depression just by the internet. Looking up resources to identify some of the coping skills to help with depression. So everyone usually has a cell phone. So if you have the ability to kind of look up some of your symptomologies that are present, you can also find solutions. And that's pretty much free without the help of a therapist. For some individuals, therapist is needed. They do have to go in depth. They do have to have a better understanding of what their issues and problems and where they, reside. So for some, it is as easy as looking up resources. For others, it does need the resource of a therapist.
And explain how healing, Dawn, I like how you explained it one time. Explain how healing is continuous.
Ooh, it's a labyrinth. Like there's levels to this thing. You start out healing this one thing, and by the time you hit the end of that journey, some new stuff don't resurface. So, you thought you hit the end of the road, but now you got this whole new maze that then opened up, and it's like, all right, it's time to get to level 2. Let's go. And it's like, okay, level 3 just opened up. Let's go. So like you are never completely healed, especially when you understand the fact that, like I said, you've been here before. Your energy is old. Your spirit is old. You have lived several lives, and the reason why you keep coming back for the most part is because there's a lot of lessons that you failed to complete in previous lives. So you not only healing in this life, but you healing previous lives as well. So you got work to do.
I think healing is the antidote to affliction. Just like with any addiction, there's a process to unravel a journey of painful wounds. And so it is that we must take a similar journey of mentally suturing those wounds. It's like a one day at a time journey and process. That's what healing is. If everyone looked at it as a one day at a time journey, then we're not looking for expedited help. We're looking for this walk, this process, this learning, this knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to equate that to is, if you have a fitness goal, you don't go to the gym one time and achieve that goal. No, you got to level up to that goal.
Yep.
That's what healing is. You got to remain consistent. You got to show up and be present and understand that there's levels to everything.
How can we help our community or take the stigma out of reaching out for mental health if that's what's needed?
Talk about it. Talk about it. Post about it. Talk about it. Post about it. The more people see things, the more they see other people that they know and respect talking about it, the more open they become to looking into that for themselves. But you have to talk about it unapologetically.
Yes.
You can't half-ass talk about healing. You can't half-ass talk about mental health being a great resource for people who truly need mental health providers. You got to go into it wholeheartedly and explain, like, this may be the avenue that some people truly need. And the more we start to talk about it and have that open dialogue about it, the more people will really start to turn to those resources that they need to get the help that they need.
Yeah.
It's in that conversation, normalizing mental health, allowing everyone to see it not as those people over there with mental health issues, but at some point in life, due to circumstances, everyone may experience some level of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
The stigma of mental health is the leading cause of why many people don't reach out and get help. As a community or as a country, we need to address our societal depression, anxiety, and phobias within our communities, our government, and our families.
Yeah. And I like how Divinity Goddess explained in one of our sister circles how when you heal, you're healing generations from the past and future generations.
Yeah, when you finally start to get on your healing journey and you start to reach those levels of healing, you are literally healing 7 generations behind you and 7 generations in front of you.
Wow, that's powerful.
Very powerful.
And so I think so. If for nothing else, do it for your future generation. You know, you don't want that whatever you're taking with you, you want to stop it so you don't pass it to, you know, your
Break the
seed.
cycle. Be the cycle breaker. Be the weirdo that breaks all the cycles. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm here for that.
Yes. We all need to be breaking some cycles in the family.
And listen,
Yeah.
breaking them left, right, and sideways up in this household.
Can you also explain, because I didn't understand it when you said the mother, the daughter, and the
Mhm.
granddaughter. Please explain.
So women, we have all the eggs we're ever going to carry in our lives, right? So right now, so before you started having children, you already had 7 generations worth of eggs in your body. So not only did you have your daughter, you have a daughter, right? One, how many? So not only did you have them in your womb, you also carry any children that they're going to have in the future in your womb as well. We're all interconnected that way. Like, and people don't, this is a whole different topic of conversation that people don't understand. But so any trauma that you've endured in your life prior to giving birth to them, you have already passed that trauma into their DNA because you already had those eggs within you.
Mm, mm.
This is not like spiritual mumbo jumbo. This is science. Like, you can research this. You know what I mean? Like, if people don't believe what I just said, by all means, go research it. And when you research it and you read it, you're gonna be sitting there like, well, dang.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the way our bodies are designed. Women, we're some magnificent creatures.
We are.
We really are.
Anything you want to add, Dr. Yancey?
No, I'm kind of like on the fence on that one there. I would have to go research it.
Yep. So I'm telling you, go research it and you will see your grandmother carried you in her womb because all the eggs were already inside of her. So when she got pregnant with your mother, you got scooped right on up inside your mother's body. And when she got pregnant, here you are.
I can see it. I'm picturing it as you say it. I want you to talk more from your perspective, Dr. Yancey.
On the healing?
Yes, the healing in our community, especially the healing with our Black men.
Sure. I would love to see a lot more communication, a lot more openness, a lot more men come to the table, being able to talk to their woman and still feel like a man. I would love to see healing start with the country viewing men as sensitive beings, as they really, really are. They're sensitive beings playing hard roles.
Wow.
They're all playing roles right now. And the fronts that they have to present to society, the fronts that they have to present to us, I would love to see more of them be able to humbly come and engage in conversation, that healing can really start within. Having an open ear, someone to listen to you, is profound healing. Everyone doesn't have an open ear to deliver their message, that they feel that they will not be judged. So just having an equal person to just be there for you and listen to your story, your hurt, your pain, is a powerful healing tool.
Divinity Goddess. I
Mhm.
like that you do your sister circles here. Let our audience know. I mean, I know what I get out of it, but let them know what they can get out their sister circle that they may not get, anywhere else.
Healing. Look at how many people opened up and literally just started breaking down in that room.
Yeah,
Don't get some healing.
it was.
And every time we get together, it's a different conversation. And so it's a different set of emotions that are invoked in people. And it's a different level of healing that's taking place at every single one. So they're going to get some healing.
I hope the Black men get to that place where they can have one of those.
I'm friends with a lot of spiritual people on Facebook. So I do see some here and there, but not nearly as often as we get together. You know what I mean? Like, men are quicker to get together for some football parties, some basketball parties, or some cigar parties. But the healing piece, my goodness, our kings need that. They need it to be a regular thing. And I've actually reached out to some kings out here to try to nudge them to put something together for the kings out here in Vegas, because again, it needs to be happening regularly, because they have a lot of healing that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much work. We got healing we need to do as queens. They got healing they need to do as kings, and then we got healing we need to do together. And we got family healing we need to do. And yeah, it's work.
Lots of healing.
Yeah, but I'm here for it.
And sometimes healing means leaving someone where they are.
Oh, listen. I just posted that on Facebook today.
Speak.
Today, like, people have this very bad perception that you have to keep toxic people in your life. Listen, sweetheart, it doesn't matter if it's your mama, your daddy, your grandma, your aunt, does not matter. Nobody toxic deserves to be in your life if they are not actively trying to heal. You don't need that kind of energy around you.
Right.
You can love them from a distance, and that's what I choose to do. And that's what I tell people all the time. Stop being so hell-bent on holding on to these negative people, especially when it's draining you, and all you do is complain about them.
And it stops your healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
Fix it. You ain't got to be around these people.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's your mama. And I'm telling you, like, mothers get the biggest pass ever. People have zero problem with you saying, you know what, I don't talk to my father. People have no problem with that. They don't bat an eye. Let you say you don't talk to your mama. Oh my, they be ready to lose. Can I cuss on here? Wait, do I need to? No, like, I'm asking.
What?
Like, it was some cuss words about the
film. Oh, go ahead.
Like, people be ready to lose their shit if you tell them you don't speak to your mama. Your mama? Yes, my mama, because mamas are toxic. Sometimes mothers are the most toxic people in people's lives, and people don't understand that, because they are very bitter, they are very hurt, they refuse to heal. They always want, and I'm not saying all mothers, but you know the mothers that always want to play the victim. It's everybody's fault that they like it. Your daddies wasn't shit, and you ain't gonna be them toxic mothers. Mm-hmm. People need to walk away from, and you need to be okay with it. And you need to stand firm on your square when you tell people that you don't speak to your mother and why. Really, you ain't got to explain why, because it ain't nobody's business but yours. Because they know who your mamas are. Like, if they've been around your mama for a long time, they know how your mama is. Mm-hmm. But people want to, oh baby, that's just the way your mama is. Great, she can be that way over there, and I'm right here healing.
Right.
And if she ready to start healing, then we can have a conversation.
Yes.
Till that happens, baby, I'm gonna keep elevating. And that's what folks need to do. You gotta stop being beholden to people that are trying to drag you down and always want to play the victim and want you to just keep giving them passes. No, sweetheart, life ain't about passes. Life is about healing. Yep. We got healing to do out here, and we ain't got time to be putting that shit on hold for nobody.
Yep.
Nobody.
I love that. How you feel about that, Dr. Yancey?
Good. I totally 100% agree that you love and you communicate from afar when persons are truly toxic. So during therapy, we talk about keeping your circle clean. Mm-hmm. So no dirty footprints. You know how you tell people to take the shoes off at your front door. It's the same principle.
Mhm.
Toxic people just shouldn't enter your circle. When it comes to your mom, it is a different type of relationship. But again, when there is toxicity, you learn the process and utilize your positivity to outweigh some of their negativity. So a lot of times I'm teaching people, how do you transform their mind instead of them transforming yours? So when they do come into your circle, how do you make sure you keep things positive? How, when they start up a gossip, you shut it down? How do you allow only conversations that are going to be in a positive light? So you begin to be the sunshine and take the cloudy day. So you can't have darkness and lightness at the same time. One person has the shine. So how do you make sure when people are around you, you are always and forever the shine?
See, I'm a firm believer on you got to leave them where they are, because a lot of our mothers do not want to change.
Mm.
And that is true. So it's all about not changing them, but making sure you stay centered.
Yeah.
So if you got sunshine, sunshine outweighs darkness. Both of them can't happen at the same time. We have night and we have day. We don't have them at the same time. And so if you got the sunshine, you do what all you know to do to keep that sun up, even when negativity, because you can't stop negativity. You got to go to work. You got to go to family reunions. You don't got to go, but you like to go to your family reunion. You like to be in places of the world. So if we stop going to places and being around negative people, we would only stay home, because there's a lot of negative people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Even your children can be negative. Your husband can be negative. And so your objective is to shine, be your best you, live your best life. People see that and they want a piece of that. They want a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all about you. And what do you do? What do you do in gossip? I do an about face like I was in the military. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want it affecting me, because toxic people are like cancer. It spreads. It spreads on you. It spreads. And so you do have to have some type of core that's positive and it shines.
Mm-hmm. I would just add, like, I don't know how people feel about their mothers, but if you're on a spiritual journey, or if you're on a healing journey and you and your mother have a toxic, or you and your dad have a toxic relationship, you might want to distance yourself while you're healing, because that could stop you. That could stop you in your tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that eventually when you do heal, you and that mother, you and that father, you and that brother need to heal together, need to go through some counseling together to find out why y'all dynamics are messed up.
But you also have to be okay with knowing that they may never decide to heal.
You're right. You're right.
That's right.
Look at how many people we know have died bitter and lonely because they just refuse to accept any sort of accountability in their actions.
Mm.
And that's where you divide yourself. So I can be on a journey and I could want my mother to be on the journey with me. If she chooses not to be on the journey, I still center myself. To the degree when I leave this earth, I say, I did a job well done. I tried to bring any and everyone along with me.
Right.
But I'm not responsible for their choices.
Right.
Nope.
And that's kind of where you do your due diligence, the communication, the kindness, letting your light shine, letting the goodness shine in you, living your best life to where people want to be a part of that best life. That's the extent of your job. And no one wants to come along with you, then you leave them there. But they will know that you did try.
Right.
And that's all that's required, is that you try.
Right. I wish more fathers and sons heal too, because it's a vicious cycle, and it's generational.
Sure.
And it's breaking up our families and our community.
When you say you wish more fathers and sons heal, what exactly do you mean?
I just think of a lot of homes with single mothers raising sons, fathers absent. There's a lot of pain that child carries with them from an absent father or absent mother.
But we have to get to the root of why that person is absent. Because a lot of times it could be because the mother is being bitter and keeping them apart, but she's also telling that child, hey, your dad ain't shit. He don't want to be around you. Meanwhile, she's actually the one keeping them apart because he doesn't want to be with her no more. He ain't got no money for her this week. So it's a huge dynamic
He
that
got
goes
a new girlfriend.
right there. That be the main one. The two main ones, he don't want to be with them no more, or he got a new girlfriend.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah, there are a lot of dynamics. There are the fathers that choose not to be
Yeah.
fathers.
And there's a lot of mothers that choose not to be mothers, but they still keep the kids and mess them up mentally. So, the black family structure, it's a lot of work and healing that needs to go into place. And it's a lot of that's personal accountability though too.
Yep.
Because we know who we're dealing with when we deal with them before we lay up and procreate. Like they done showed the signs. We just chose not to look at them signs because we was infatuated or we was in lust. So personal accountability has to come into play at some point too, because there's a lot of people out here just being reckless. And then they be like, oh man, my baby daddy is jacked up or my baby mama is messed up. But you knew that before. Like they wasn't shit before you got pregnant. Like it wasn't shit before you got them pregnant. They didn't just magically stop being shit.
Right.
So accountability and that's part of the healing though. So yeah, that's a whole
It
nother.
gets deep. It gets deep.
It does. Like man. So yes, there's just a lot of healing that needs to take place.
What what keeps you up at night?
Honestly, spiritual downloads.
Wow.
That's where I have gotten myself to a place where I don't necessarily stress about a lot of things, because I know what to do to alleviate that stress. Meditate, go sit, do Reiki on myself. But typically, if I'm having a night where I can't sleep, it's because I'm getting a bunch of spiritual downloads, and then the next day I figure out what all them downloads were.
Now, when you say spiritual downloads, what does that mean?
Messages from, I talk to my ancestors often. They visit me often. Things that I'm supposed to be out here doing, ways for me to help people. Those are all spiritual downloads that I get. All the people that I'm doing spiritual counseling with, like stuff will come to me days later after we've had a session. And so I'll, either remember or I'll jot that down for our next session. So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I like that. What keeps you up at night, Dr. Yancey?
I think more or less, I'm going to go macro. The state of our nation keeps me up. Understanding societal, discrimination and all the different people who really do need healing and help and have no resources to get it.
Mm.
That keeps me up. There's so many issues and problems that I don't see government having a solution for. And so that's worrisome.
Absolutely. But we're going to have some resources and some links in the description of the video. So hopefully if anybody needs any kind of mental health or spiritual guidance or spiritual healing, you can reach out and get what you need. Divinity Goddess, what do you want our audience to know about healing, about spirituality, about spiritual guidance, that you can tell them based off of your you learning and you being a healer yourself?
So what I would want people to know is that you can't, like, if you are not happy where you are, then that's telling you it's time to put the work in. And know and understand that healing is not going to be easy and it's not going to be pretty, but it gets beautiful at the end when you master this thing of healing and you get ready for that next journey. Healing is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give yourself. The gift of being healed, the gift of letting trauma go, the gift of knowing that you've healed generations previous and generations that are coming forward, knowing that you sat down and done that work so that you can find some peace in this somewhat chaotic world, it's the best gift that you can give yourself, and it's all attainable. It's not like healing is not something that is it can be attained by anybody. You just have to be ready to put the work in.
Also, I do think, and I think you said this one time, that everyone has the ability or some kind of a gift of healing if you want it, but you have to tap into it.
Everybody has the power of Reiki in them, but you gotta want to learn it, and then you gotta want to use it. We're all light beings. We're all energy beings. We all have the power to heal ourselves.
Dr. Yancey, do you want to let the audience know or give the audience any advice about their healing journey?
Sure. I would just definitely say that if you are in need of any type of healing, therapy of any kind, it is so important just to take that first step with the initial assessment that you can't do it all by yourself. So reach out. Many times you can do it by yourself, but if you find that you can't do it by yourself, then try to reach out to resources that are available to you and get the needed assistance that may be helpful to make situations just a little bit lighter.
Now, I've also noticed that when you start healing, you start treating yourself better.
Mm-hmm.
You watch what you put in your mouth. You watch what comes out your mouth. I mean, the healing goes on so many levels when you talk about self. That's why I think like the holistic approach is the ideal approach.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Is there anything else that you want to say, Divinity Goddess, before we close it up?
I just want to send love and light and peace and blessings to everybody who is listening and watching this now, and to everyone who may listen to and watch this in the future.
And I thank you for being here. I appreciate both of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next week, we're going to be talking about preparing to purchase a home. In our community, a lot of times we don't have any generations that has purchased any real estate. And we need to be in the Black community. The rates of home ownership in the Black community has gone down since 2008. The recession, and now we're here at another recession, and I really don't know how we're going to pull through it. But if you can drop by, tune in to Mahogany Under with Cece and Dr. Yancey. So until next time, be the change that you desire.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Say Nani.